When you start studying and learning that the people that are handling cows, chicken, pigs, fish, they're only trying to make money.
Right.
They don't really give a crap about you. They're going to make the money that they're supposed to make. The pharmaceutical companies own the medical industry, period.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
And so everybody's going to make money off of your ignorance.
Yeah.
I come to you as you,
Yeah.
and I just share a bit of the journey because I feel so good. I want everybody to feel as good as I feel.
Gotcha.
I mean, come on, 73, boom.
Boom, boom.
You better know it.
Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective. And today will be no different. Actually, today is going to be amazing. This is one of the interviews I have definitely been looking forward to. I believe that when we're having conversations around health and healing, we have to have conversations around longevity too. Because as you look and you see that life expectancy is going up just a little bit, what they're not telling you is that life expectancy is going up, but people are living with dis-ease for longer in their lives. So it's so important I bring this person to you today. So let me just give you a few flowers of who this person is today. Chef Babette is a world-class vegan chef, fitness influencer, motivational speaker. She is the owner of vegan restaurant Stuff I Eat in Los Angeles, California. Some of her television appearances have included The Doctor Show, Inside Edition, The Steve Harvey Show, also the cooking talk show, The Chew on ABC, right? Okay. Also Insecure on HBO, which I believe now is Netflix. She is an author of the book Cash In on Cashews.
That's it.
A delicious dessert cookbook. And what I find inspirational about you is that your story didn't begin in the beginning. It took off when you turned 40. That's when you committed to a new lifestyle, a new diet, new fitness.
Yes.
And you didn't even open up your restaurant until your 50s.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't forget Tamron Hall now. That's my girl.
Okay, in Tamron Hall. And now in her 70s, she, as you can see today, she is a radiant beam of light and a perfect example of aging gracefully. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Man, I was so excited about this view. I was so excited that I came out of my studio in Atlanta to come to LA to interview you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Thank you.
I was so excited about this. And you know, as I was telling you a little bit earlier off air, that I showed my mom your profile, and I just let her watch it for a second, and she was like, man, this lady is getting it. And I was like, yeah. I was like, this is the new example for you. She was like, well, she's not a young, she's a young lady. And I was like, Mom, she's actually older than you. And she said, what? And she had so many questions, like so many questions. And so from my perspective, I know everybody, when they see you, they're like, I want to know your secret sauce to longevity and aging gracefully. But what I think is really important is when somebody sees somebody who's radiating with energy and positivity, what they don't understand is the tremendous amount of work, spiritual work that you've had to go through to become who you are.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I believe that before we come down here in physical form to have this human experience, I believe we decide many of our experiences.
I do too.
I believe that we select who our parents are going to be.
All that.
We select if we're going to be short, tall,
We're on
America.
the same page when it comes to that.
Right.
Totally.
And so I believe that that's our divine spiritual curriculum.
There you go.
And so our life in and of itself is our divine spiritual curriculum. So with that being said, let's start with your superhero origin story.
My superhero origin story.
Yeah, which I think is important.
How it all started? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like how the veganism started, or
This
how
life.
just life?
Yeah, this human
The
experience.
experience, period. I think I've only shared this one other time, and it was another podcast, Rich Roll,
Okay.
and he allowed me to share my journey to date.
Yeah.
And I like to share that it is merely a human journey.
Yeah.
It's just part of the experience.
Yeah.
We all have our own experiences,
Right.
period.
Yeah.
All right. So I had a mother who was third grade education. She grew up as a sharecropper. My mother was bound and determined when she came to Los Angeles and had kids to not have us on welfare. That was just something, no, I'm not doing
My
that.
mom was the
She was
same.
the same way. And my mother she could barely read or write, but she worked hard. And I often ask the question, we get so opinionated about people who need the assistance of welfare.
Right.
And I've thought, what if my mom hadn't been so dead set on working 2 and 3 jobs and selling food from her home on the weekends? What if she had accepted some help?
Right.
Perhaps I wouldn't have gone through the experiences that I went through because she had to leave me with caregivers
Right.
who weren't always that great,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. It happened. And I had, at age 5, was the first time the sitter's son, I don't know how old this person was. I was only 5 years old. And the reason I know I was 5 is because my younger sister, who is no longer with us, she was in the crib in my mother's room across the hall.
Gotcha.
And I'm 5 years older than her. Well, this man comes up to my room, does what he has to do, and then he goes back downstairs where his mother is doing laundry. And this is back in the day when we had the old wringer washing machines, and she's there wringing clothes through this thing, and I stand on one side of her and he's on the other side of her, and nobody says a word.
Right.
And I never saw him again. She never asked any questions, and I never, ever, ever told anybody until I was an adult what happened to me. That was the first really horrible experience of my journey. And yeah, she also married someone. He was Italian. My mother had a real open heart, real open home. She didn't really pay too much attention to color.
Yeah.
Everybody was invited in, and she wound up marrying this person, but he was a fondler. He bothered me all the time, all of the time. It was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I lived through that. And she said she saw him one time touch me inappropriately, and she had a discussion with him that if she wasn't enough for him, then he needed to leave, because it stopped and I didn't know why, you know. So I'm with a really hateful godmother during the week, and then he picks me up on Friday, and then I have to deal with him
Wow.
for the weekend. That's what I was going through. But it was horrible back then, but part of the journey.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, and then in terms of the way I felt as a kid, my mother was from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Come on, you know, we ate everything on the pig from the rooter to the tooter.
My mom's
I mean,
from Georgia.
you know, look, I mean,
I know.
we cleaned pig intestines.
Right.
We washed the dirt and the grass out of the intestines, boiled them over and over till we got all the fat off of them,
Right.
and then ate them.
Right.
And so I had a horrible diet. My mother put sugar in everything.
Yep.
So I was a hot mess. I had asthma, eczema. I was sick all the time, really horrible earaches, just inflamed,
Yeah.
So that was that's how it all got started.
Yeah. And what kind of impact did that sort of have on you as you sort of go from a very small child having to experience that amount of trauma in a very small amount of period by multiple people? What kind of impact did that have on you as you lead into becoming a young lady and then eventually
Well,
becoming young
a
an
lot of
adult?
insecurity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just trust issues,
Yeah.
and I'm on my pardon me, I'm on my fourth husband. So I just did a lot of things very quickly.
Yeah.
I didn't understand knowing knowledge of self allows you to understand others better. I had no
Yes.
knowledge of self.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, if somebody acted like they like me, I was just like, want to get married? Hey,
Yeah.
want to date? Want to whatever?
Right.
And so I wound up with my daughter's father, who was pretty much a childhood sweetheart, but he was on heroin and alcohol.
I can imagine what that was like.
That was hell.
Yeah.
I mean, this man's nodding all the time.
Yeah.
So I go from being abused physically as a child, and then I get into a relationship who is chemically addicted,
Right.
And I'm just so glad that part of my experience is over.
Yeah.
It was really absolutely horrible watching him destroy himself and us. And I was there, but now that being with him was when I was able to tell my mother about her husband and what he had done to me all
Really?
those years. Yeah, because she was very opinionated about him and
About the
what kind
first
of
husband.
my first husband,
Gotcha.
what kind of guy he was, and I finally just said, you know what, he may not endorse his paychecks and hand them to me like your husband does, but he would never fondle our daughter.
Right.
And she was like, what are you talking about? And I explained to her how I lived with him, what he did. And that's when she told me, I saw him, touch you inappropriately. And I had the conversation with you because it stopped. And I never knew why it stopped.
Right.
But it stopped because she had that conversation
So
with
she
him.
was aware of it.
She
and
was
she thought
aware,
she
but-
put a stop to it,
Well, she did.
but she
When-
didn't
when
realize how many times it had happened.
It had happened. So,
Gotcha.
Or how many other young girls in the neighborhood that she had no knowledge of that he was giving money to
Right.
doing some of the same things.
Right.
She didn't know all of that. It probably would have been better. I can sit here and say this now, but this person retired from the military and he cut his salary when he retired so that if he passed away first, she'd get more than just the average pension.
Right.
And so I always said to myself, well, he paid his debt too, because my mother only had a third grade education. So when she retired, she was not about to get the amount of money that he made possible for her to get. So,
Gotcha.
There was so much forgiveness. But how I look at all those people in my past now, I look at them as spiritual guides. I mean, there are just certain things that I learned through that journey.
Right.
That just made me sharper, more aware.
Right.
And when I see people like that now, I know who they are because of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I always say one of the impacts of trauma is that it disconnects you from yourself
There
and
you
it
go.
disconnects you from others. So you have this inability to actually act on making a decision for yourself.
There you go.
Because you're not connected with the emotions that you're
Right.
actually going through.
Right.
And
Whoa,
through my
man.
experience, like my healing experience, one of the things that have been like prophetic for me is that I had to lean into forgiveness and acceptance
You
of
sure
all
did.
of the
Oh my
things that have
God.
happened to me. You know, watching a friend kill another friend when I was 12 years old,
Oof.
losing my cousin,
Yikes.
to police, and just on and on, going through those things. The first thing I had to do was forgive me because I held myself accountable
Mm.
for them. Like I blame myself for my cousin's death, even though I wasn't
You
even
weren't even,
present.
see?
And so through that journey of forgiveness, forgiving myself first, forgiving my cousin for leaving me behind,
Yeah.
forgiving the police officers that chased him in the car
Yeah.
that led to him crashing, that's where I really experienced a lot of my healing. And so what part of forgiveness has been part of your journey? Because some of the things are unforgivable
Mm.
and to most people.
Yeah.
And again, what part of forgiveness has been very important to you becoming who you are today?
Well, the first thing I did was I embraced love. I just felt like, and in terms of the whole forgiving thing, had I not walked in some of those shoes, when someone came to me because their stepfather was doing something inappropriate to them
Yeah,
and the mother didn't believe it, I was able to open my doors to that person and say, "You have a home here.
yeah,
I get it." Just because I walked in those shoes. So going through it and having knowledge of what's out there and what we can all go through, I just felt like embracing love and understanding and knowing that I have this knowledge for a purpose. Use it for good.
yeah,
Use it to help. And
yeah.
that is what I do right now.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can, going back to the original point that I was talking about earlier, I can also like using the idea that every experience we have on some spiritual level
Thank
before
you.
we came down here, we decided that we wanted to
Thank
have
you.
this.
Thank you.
Now that's a very scary
That's
thought to
people
say I
don't get,
contributed
but
to it.
people don't get it that
Yeah.
way. They don't understand it that way, but I do. When you say, I appointed my mom and dad, those were the two people
Yep.
that I needed to to get here.
Yeah.
I so
Yeah, and I can
with you
imagine
on that.
how your first husband, although he was addicted to heroin, watching him sabotage and self-destruct himself, it gives you an understanding of having compassion for somebody.
Exactly. And then I turned around and through my journey, I was shown crack cocaine by my sister.
Yeah,
I thought to myself, oh, it's just another way to use cocaine. I know cocaine is better than heroin because nobody nods
Right.
and looks ridiculous. And I had some high end friends that snorted cocaine.
yeah,
And I thought to myself, well, you don't have to snort it now. You can smoke it
right.
through ignorance.
Yeah,
But yeah, going through that myself, and it only lasted 7 months. That part of my journey,
yeah,
I just really wasn't caring for self at the time.
right.
And when you're on crack, it's so debilitating until you're not really thinking.
Yeah.
You're just really not thinking.
Yeah, and I can see how having the previous experience of watching your husband do it, that may have tapped into at some point to you to say, I'm doing this to me.
I'm doing it to
What I watched him
what
do
I
to
watched him do to him.
Yeah.
And the last time I did it, I was in my old bedroom at my mom's house.
Yeah.
The bedroom was empty and I'm messing around with this crack cocaine. And I was going through this piggy bank.
Yeah.
And it was like a voice out of nowhere.
Like your piggy bank?
I guess just one that was left in the bedroom.
Gotcha.
Okay, the furniture was
Yeah.
out, but I was on the floor and it was like this voice came to me and said, "Oh, so that's what you do now. You go through piggy banks. That's who you are."
The higher version of you speaking
And
to
I
you.
never, ever, ever went back.
Wow.
I never went back. That did it for me. I got a job with the airlines, and I never, ever, ever looked back. I remember having a conversation. I got a paycheck, and I was driving on the 110 freeway, and I remember saying, wow, I could get high right now. And the other voice saying, and mess everything up.
Yeah.
And I just never, ever went back.
Yeah.
Met my current husband, and that's when I started really learning about self-love and self-care.
Yeah. Which leads me into, you know, the unhealed version of us makes very different decisions
Yes.
than the healed version of us.
I know.
And sometimes what happens is that we have to pay for the decisions that our unhealed version made for us.
Yes.
And then we get healed, and now we're regretting all this, but that was just part of the journey.
It was part of it. I don't look back with any regrets.
Yeah.
No regrets.
Yeah. And can you talk about how important it is, how one type of relationship can lead you down this path versus another type of relationship can lead you down this path? And I think it's really important for people to recognize that, because I always say there's different levels of consciousness. You could be conscious in the moment, which is perfect, which is good. Mm-hmm. You could be conscious retrospectively after it happens, and you got to look back after the aftermath. Or you can literally be conscious beforehand, which is intuition.
Yes.
And so I really want to help the audience sort of think about things in a different way when they think about their relationships, because sometimes I believe that there's no path that you need to take. You can go down this path where you choose a friend that makes you end up becoming a drug dealer or makes you end up becoming addicted. You can go down another path and you will learn some of the same lessons. That, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. I really do agree with you on that.
And so can you talk about how relationships have impact? Because you just talked about meeting your husband versus, maybe your first 3 husbands.
Honey, let me tell you. You said maybe your first 3, since you got 4.
No, but listen, when you're committed to love.
Oh my gosh.
And here's the thing. Sometimes we have to experience love first through other people to finally say, let me fall in love with me.
Fall in love with myself.
Yeah, so I'm in love. I'm in love with the concept of love and the institution of it and the experience. And so when I see people who have been married 4 times, I'm like, that is a lover. If they're not anything else, they're a lover.
Wow, being a flight attendant too, I was living in Colorado when I finally separated from my first husband. We were in Colorado, and I became a flight attendant with Frontier Airlines.
Okay.
And then the reason I was able to get away from the first husband is because someone else showed up who had a lot of money. So here I am now thinking money has got to be the answer to all of my ills.
Yeah.
So I replace the heroin addict with a cocaine dealer.
Gotcha.
That is how I become acquainted with the cocaine being the drug and being able to have access to it to start with the crack.
Yeah.
This person, this person was abusive. Physically.
Okay.
And this was the experience that I went through with a person. He literally cold cocked me. Now I make fun of that now because I go, you really do see the stars, and when you're knocked out, I mean completely out like that.
Right.
And then I can remember him ramming my head through a wall, picking me up, body slamming me on different. I had never been abused that way. I had never been physically abused like that by a man. And then I finally escape Colorado.
Okay.
I have airline passes, but I'm on a Greyhound bus because I'm trying to get away from Monster Man here.
Right.
And I come to LA, and that is when I meet husband number 2.
Got you.
Husband number 2 was a cocaine snorter to the point that he used to have blowing flesh out of his nose.
Wow.
So he decided he was going to learn how to clean the cocaine, clean the acid off of hydrochloric acid. I think that's what's
Or
in
acetone.
whatever. And so he was able to clean it so he could snort it and it wouldn't hurt. But then we decided I wasn't working for the airlines then because I'd moved from Denver. We decided that we would start cooking cocaine rocks to support ourselves. So I'm all in it now. This was before I'm in my mother's bedroom, having the conversation with myself.
Yeah.
And so, but believe it or not, all this only lasted 7 months.
Wow.
From start to, isn't that incredible? 7 months.
You can have a lifetime.
7 months.
Yeah.
And I'm finally off of it. But yeah, so this person, how I get him out of my life is,
And at this time, were you not only
I'm not working. But
not only were you using, were you also selling as well too?
We were selling. No, we. This is. I think about this now. It's so silly. Do you really thought you were gonna have a lifestyle cooking cocaine rocks? Because we kind of prided ourselves on making really pretty rocks, So
Gotcha.
so we had the dealer who was selling the rocks. We were his cooks.
Okay.
So we cooked the rocks for him, and we put them in display cases because they were so beautifully formed.
Yeah.
And finally, this person winds up out of my life because he stole my income tax check. And we only got married because I had a hernia and I needed surgery and he had insurance. So we got married right quick. We didn't even stay married long enough for us to have to get a divorce. Annulment. And then I finally met the person that calmed my entire life down. Took my daughter and took us in. He had a son that he should have been caring for that was having some emotional issues, but he took us into his home, and that's when things began to level out. We bought a home together.
Yeah.
And I just really wasn't ready for him.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
So we wind up separating. He leaves me the home, and I finally meet the person that I'm with today.
Gotcha.
And I went to City of Angels. It was a metaphysical church near the airport, and I met Reverend Dr. O.C. Smith, and I heard him speak. And when I heard him speak, I knew that I was in the right place.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because he spoke to me in a way it wasn't like, and you got somebody out there looking at you, and then you got somebody down there with a pitchfork that's going to get you. He didn't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't the message. The message was about love.
Yeah.
Period. And that is when everything changed.
Yeah.
When I met my current husband right now, first date, took me on the workout, Griffith Park. He ran the whole hill backwards. I'm thinking, I can't even walk this thing. And he's running this thing backwards. I'm about to turn 40, and he's about to turn 42.
Yeah.
Prepared my first vegan meal, and I didn't belch, and I could have won a belching contest. I swear, I could not digest my food. I was horrible. And gave me 2 books. And I was like,
Your husband?
my current husband. And I was like, damn, I got to read.
That's the beautiful thing about
His brother want me to read? Okay, I better read these books. But it was the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. But that's the beautiful thing about when you know it's right.
Yes.
When people don't want you to be just who you currently are. they want to take you up with them.
Take you with them.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's like that.
And we
that,
both transitioned together, became vegan together.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So he was reading the book, and then he shared it with you,
shared it
and then
with
you
me.
read it.
He had actually had the book signed by the authors.
Okay.
And he said to me, now I don't usually loan my books. And it was
I'm
a
the same
hardcover.
way.
It was a hardcover, you know. I don't normally loan my books, but I knew I had to read the books,
Yeah.
you know, expeditiously, because I mean, I'm borrowing this man's book and he don't loan them. So,
And
I
need
want to
those
make
back.
a good impression.
Yeah.
I read those books and started practicing what was in Fit for Life. And I thought, oh my gosh,
This is it.
this is it. And that's when I began to understand the importance of knowledge. So when I share, and when people say, well, how did you make that transition to become vegan? And I go, educate yourself.
Yep.
Knowledge is power. Know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
It makes more of a difference.
It does.
It really does. I'm so different than the person I was.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny because people say the same thing about me. Like I grew up in
Yeah.
that place. And so like whenever I go back home and people see me, they're like,
Wow.
man, you used to wreak havoc.
Were
My
you
mom
that?
wouldn't let me hang out with you.
Were you that?
Yeah, man, because, you
Oh
know,
my God.
trauma. You know, you go through witnessing who was my non-family best friend kill another one of my friends,
That
and
right there is horrible.
lose my best friend cousin, and another friend committed a double homicide, lost him too,
Oh,
and lost all of my grandparents by the time I was 15.
yeah, I never even met grandparents.
Yeah, so you go through that amount of loss with no therapy. Nobody asks if you're okay.
Oh,
You're going to act out in ways that you think are you
So
because
true.
you identify
You
with the
identify,
pain so
right.
greatly.
right.
And so that was what was happening. And at heart, I was really like loving, creative,
Yeah.
wanted to be in nature, be by myself, but I was broken inside.
Yeah.
And the only way that I can get that brokenness off of me was to exert it on the world.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, I was that person for so long in my life that I really didn't know how to be somebody else.
Your friends
I didn't know
are
how to
like-
be me
Your friends
anymore.
are like, is that you?
Yeah. So, but I think that's the beautiful thing about growth and evolution is it's like an onion.
It
You
is.
just start pulling back
Yes, you do.
layers until you
Layers,
get to nothing.
Exactly.
And that
True
nothing
that.
is everything, you know, and that's when you reconnect back with God. And I feel like that's the point of the journey that I'm at
Yeah.
now.
You understand who you are in this whole thing we call life,
Yes.
the oneness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was, you know, you talked a little bit about addiction. When I was growing up, that cousin that passed away, unfortunately, his mom was addicted to crack cocaine. And I remember having to experience that because he was the person that I hung out with every day. And sometimes she would get violent. And I remember having to leave, like she would send me away, and I would always pray for him and for protection and pray for her to be healed.
Yeah, that was a weird period, especially in our communities.
Yeah.
They put so much crack. And but they did that with heroin before the crack.
Yeah, I guess it didn't work.
It didn't work, but the crack addicted you immediately though.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, and
So,
I got to witness that. I even, you know, one of my uncles, unfortunately, I got to see him cook crack cocaine.
yeah, we did that. That's how we
And-
made them rocks.
And you know what's so crazy? That is what inspired my sort of interest in science.
Sorry. I'm not really laughing.
No, really.
But I am laughing.
That's how I fell in
No
love
way.
with
No way.
chemistry.
No.
I went to school. I had a teacher. His name was Mr. Barnhill. He knew everything about chemistry. I'm in the class and I'm like trying to figure out how did he take this powder and turn it into a crystal form. So I went and asked the teacher. He told me.
He told you?
He told me. And when he told me, I was like,
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
and so that's science that they're doing. And he said, well, I won't call it science. I was like,
it
well,
was,
it sounds
though.
like
It-
science.
It was.
And so I said, you know, I want to know more about this. That's how I got interested in chemistry. It sure was.
You know, that's really pretty funny.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny about addiction? Because especially in the 80s and the 90s, like it was everywhere.
It was.
I mean, it was like you were watching these zombies walk everywhere. I remember a friend of mine getting addicted to crack cocaine. And I walked up on him. This is somebody I grew up with. And I tapped his shoulder and he looked at me and
He
didn't know
even
who I was.
know you.
He didn't even. So I got to witness it in so many different forms. And today it's a little bit different because like you don't necessarily see it as affluent anymore, but the new addiction is food. You know, and so what I see now is, especially in our neighborhoods, you know, you go in our neighborhoods, you rarely can find a healthy food restaurant.
It's true.
You know, you go in our
You
neighborhoods.
almost go in any neighborhood now. We eat like crap.
We eat like crap, and
we do.
And the food that we eat is chemicals.
Oh my God.
It is a chemical soup that keeps us addicted to it, and that food is what leads us to essentially all of our assassinators. Our largest assassinators are diabetes, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune conditions, and we lead the category.
You are
and all of them
speaking so much truth.
Yeah, and so what would you how would you compare? Because I always parallel those two. How do you compare like the addiction we have now, which is socially accepted, to back then? It was all about drugs.
Wow, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I'm gonna put it like this. Wow. It's a good question.
Take your time.
You know, I guess I can say I was very, very blessed that I wasn't stubborn. You understand what I'm saying? And that by learning what I began to learn, I started feeling empowered to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just wanted, because when you're a brand new vegan, you kind of get on people's nerves because you're not, you all in their plate. You don't need
food police.
Food police. You got to learn how to calm yourself down from that.
Yeah.
But I am so very blessed that I met this man and that I got this information, because I can only imagine where I would have been when you talk about all those illnesses. And I mean, I was very sick as a child.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Very sick. But man, I look at us right now, and and when I said all communities, we're overweight. And let me just talk about America.
Yeah.
We're massively overweight.
Yeah.
And we're seriously sick, and we're ignorant. That right there kills it all. When you don't know what you're supposed to eat or how you're supposed to eat it. You don't know who's handling your food and what they're doing with your food. Well, you don't know that you're supposed to know.
Yeah, true. True, very true.
When you start studying and learning that the people that are handling cows, chicken, pigs, fish, they're only trying to make money.
Right.
They don't really give a crap about you. They're going to make the money that they're supposed to make. The pharmaceutical companies own the medical industry, period.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
And so everybody's going to make money off of your ignorance.
Yep.
And you can be so ignorant that you're combative.
Yep.
You don't even know what you're talking about, but you will attack somebody that is trying to share information with you. Yeah. I did a podcast with Jillian Berry. She's a raw foodist.
Yeah.
And she posted a clip, and I said, I don't have the gear to jump on top of a cow, tear it apart, and just eat it on the spot.
Right.
A cow is not my diet. Oh my gosh.
Everybody went in.
They attacked me. They said I was a clown. They said I was stupid, dumb. They talked about my breast implants. They called me, the last thing they said, shut up, lil nigga. And that was when I was like, okay, it is time to, I had to go through and delete and block and to protect myself.
Right.
And I said, wow, if they had listened to the entire interview, they would have heard me address my breast implants. But no, they took that one clip.
Yep.
And because I said something negative about eating animal flesh, they went
Negative or
nuts.
true? Negative or true? You said something true
I
about
said
it.
something very true.
Yeah.
They took me back to prehistoric times.
Yeah.
They said we invented tools. That's what makes it okay. The Bible said you could eat meat. The Bible also says you shouldn't eat meat. So
Yeah.
come on now. The
Right.
Bible is a book of allegories.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
so I say all that to say I can only share with people, know why you need to do what it is you need to do.
Yes.
You learn that for yourself. Nobody is going to get up at 2:00 in the morning for me, get themselves ready to go to the gym for 2 hours, go to work for 5 or 6 hours. Nobody is going to do that for me but me.
Right.
So taking care of you is your responsibility.
Right.
It really is. And learning what you're ingesting. They are doing so much crap to these animals,
Yep.
and we're getting concentrated levels of it every time we ingest it.
Right.
We're making ourselves sicker and sicker and sicker. We're so fat.
Yep. 75% of the American population overweight or obese.
So fat. And then why are we the only species that needs to medicate after we eat?
Yeah.
I got to take Tums because I get acid reflux. Well, why do you get acid reflux?
Right.
You're miscombining your food. You're eating improperly.
Yep.
But if I hadn't read those books, I wouldn't know that.
Right.
So it's my responsibility to learn about me.
Right. 100%.
100%.
Take ownership.
Take ownership.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I'm loving life. I'm living my best life right now.
I see it.
Because to me, longevity, you know what they used to say, longevity has its place.
Right.
But there's nothing better than quality.
Right.
If I want to get down right now and do an 8-minute plank, I can do that plank right now.
Right.
But
in your 70s.
Thank you. I had to get myself ready to do that after coming from where I came from.
Exactly.
So we can use excuses. Well, I was this way and I was that way. Each and every moment, you have the opportunity to change.
Right.
To be a better you. Each and every second.
Yep.
Each and every second. If I'm crying 1 second, I can laugh the next because I can make myself laugh the next moment. I only have that time guaranteed to me. No other time is guaranteed. Only right this minute.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you start this journey where you're now discovering the healing powers of food. Food is medicine.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is now you have an accountability partner.
Yes.
To go along with you with this journey.
And he was a hot mess.
Yeah.
I remember one time trying to make some oatmeal cookies, and we had a food truck. We were on Agape Spiritual Center, and I'm like, "Can you just run and get me some oatmeal?" I'm all
Dr.
out
Michael
oatmeal.
Beckwith.
Michael Beckwith.
Yeah.
And he was like, I said, you can just go get me some regular oatmeal. He said, "Is it organic?" And I said, "Dude, it's just for one time. I'm just making cookies." He said he drove all the way to the one store that we knew sold organic oats in bulk and brought I felt like, because I was getting ready to go on and get some of that,
It sounds like
that
me.
stuff in the red, white, and blue box, that round. Hey, y'all wasn't getting no organic oats with me. But he made me take responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. And that's so important.
To be able to trust if I say I feed that to you, that's what I feed you.
Yes.
And he's like that in the restaurant right now.
Gotcha. Which is beautiful because, you go from healing you to
there you go.
Food is medicine. And now you get this inspiration,
the opportunity
to help other people in this
others.
journey. When did that come apart and how did that come about?
We, after he fixed that meal for me and we got married 2 years later, and our food was so good. At the wedding, I was like, "Well, do you think we should serve chicken?" And he was like,
"Did you guys make the food at the wedding?"
We had a vegan chef come in.
Okay, gotcha.
And he was like, "Do we eat chicken?" And I said, "No, we don't." He was like, "Then they have to eat what we eat." And nobody complained, not at all. And so first I was doing floral arrangements, balloon decoration. I've done some of everything, hairstylist, the whole 9 yards. But we started playing with the food and we thought people would love this because they think vegan food, because it's no animal product in it, they think it's going to taste crappy.
Right.
And we were eating everything we wanted to eat, you
Right.
know? And so we just decided that I know, I went to Japan to sing. I thought I was going to be a singer.
Yeah.
He is a singer.
Is he?
And yeah, he
Okay,
plays
gotcha.
bass guitar, and that's kind of how we met. I went and auditioned for his group, but and you know what he told me?
What did
He
he say?
said, "You're off key. You're not. You need to you need to join a choir so you can get your ear." He told me that.
He sounds like me.
I didn't sing for a whole year after he told me that. He was like, he said, "Sing that," and I was singing that. He would play it back, and he goes, "Now, what do you hear?" And I was like, "Sounds okay to me." And he was like, "You're not on the note. You need to tweak up your ear." That's what
When's
he
his
told me.
birthday?
September
September.
the
I
14th.
knew it.
Hey, Virgo, man, they're
Yeah,
crazy.
September 7th.
They're crazy. They
Yeah.
will tell you anything. Virgos, they do not hold back. That little man does not hold back.
Gotcha.
Nothing. Nothing.
Gotcha.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm the
He's still
same
a
way.
pain in the butt in that restaurant, too. He come in there and something tastes. That is not correct.
That's not it.
Yeah, that's not it. But yeah, man. Anyway, yeah.
So you guys get together and say, hey,
Get
we're gonna
together.
do-
Okay, yeah. So we
Yeah.
get together, and then I go to Japan because I'm going to do some singing, and then I get over there, and all I'm doing is working out and prepping food.
Yeah.
And I come back home. I do a lot of meditating. Oh, the whole time I'm there, I'm just meditating my butt off. And I determine that food is it. This
Yeah.
is where I'm going to wind up.
Nice.
And I came back home, started a catering company, called it Stuff I Eat.
Yep.
And then eventually he said, "You want me to get involved?" And I was thinking, anyway, I was like, of course. And we started serving food over at City of Angels first. And
Okay.
then we started serving food at Agape Spiritual Center. We were on the parking lot for 6 years. We wound up with block-long lines,
Yeah.
found the building on Market Street, fixed it up. Took us 4 years to open it, and we opened it, and we've been there ever since.
Now you guys opened it up in 2008.
2008.
In the middle of a real estate market crash.
It was a
and
crash. It was a
recessions.
hot mess. And we had people saying, "You are going to open a vegan restaurant in Inglewood," which is predominantly black and brown
Yeah.
neighborhood. And people would walk in and look at the menu and not see chicken and walk out, and I'd run behind them. "Get back here. Let me
Yeah.
give you a taco."
Yeah.
We had these wild rice tacos, and they'd eat a taco and they would be like, "This is really good."
Yeah.
And that's how we started building our clientele.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
That's beautiful because it shows you against all odds, as you've always done in your life, as we heard
Yeah.
throughout this whole interview. Whatever you put your mind
Whatever
to,
you put your mind
your
to.
heart to, it just manifests itself.
Yeah.
And so you've been rocking since 2008 in Inglewood,
And through COVID.
through COVID.
And a lot of restaurants had to close.
Man,
A lot of them, yes.
Yeah. And in a predominantly black and brown
Exactly.
neighborhood.
Yes. Meat
Most-
eaters.
That's what I was about to say. Most people who come in a restaurant and come in there consistently
Yeah.
eat meat.
Yep.
And so talk a little bit about how critical was it to help people with your menu you're creating these menus and type of meals that are transitional, because it's like when they hear what it is, they're like, "Oh, that's something my mom
I
used to
love
cook."
that you brought that up because that's exactly the type of menu it is. It's transitional.
Yeah.
So we've got soul food platters.
Yeah.
I find that the soul food platter is just a hair gluttonous. Ron and I don't eat like that now.
Yeah.
For me, I'm doing more fruitarian vibe right
too.
now. You too?
Yes.
I'm really
I
loving
I
it.
own a
Yeah.
fruit farm.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm all on the fruitarian thing, but we'll make a handful of nuts a meal, seeds. So gluttonous to me. We have a soul food platter. Okay, now, this is gluttonous.
Okay.
You know, as a black man, you do not need coleslaw and potato salad.
Right.
You don't need them both. But we put both on the plate. I don't know what we were thinking.
Right. Because that's what we have at Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Yep.
We have black-eyed peas, kale greens, yams, mac and cheese, and cornbread.
Gotcha.
And jerk tofu. No, barbecue tofu or barbecue jackfruit now.
Okay.
So we will put seven of those items on your plate.
One plate.
That is gluttonous. I don't even eat like that
Right.
now. I can't eat that much food.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Yeah.
I juice more, and I just do different stuff now.
Right.
But we would put a salad on every plate, and of course, people don't like to eat their live food. And do you know, my husband and I would go through and be like, "Why are you not eating that salad?"
Everything eaten except the
That
salad.
is the only life on your plate is the salad. That's
Right.
why we put it there.
Right.
And so now we ask them instead, because they throw them away, we ask them, do you want the salad?
Yeah.
Rather than just giving. We were so determined to get people healthy,
Right.
get them knowledgeable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't eat enough life.
Yeah.
Most of the food we eat is dead.
Yep.
I mean, when you cook everything to temperatures over 115 degrees Fahrenheit, you're killing the life in the food.
It's done.
It's done.
That's
So
why they
if,
say
if
it's
all
done.
you eat is death, where do you get your nutrients?
Right. So, like I was telling you earlier, I own a tropical fruit farm. And
That's exciting.
yeah, man, it's really exciting because, again, it's just like with you. It started from my love of fruit. I traveled the world for about four to 6 years, and I got to experience all of these tropical fruit. And then when I got back here to the States, I'm like, it's non-existent.
Non-existent.
And so I was like, you know what? One day
Seedless watermelons.
I'm gonna buy a tropical fruit farm. Finally did, and
Look at you.
guess what?
What?
I bought you some.
You
So I'm
did?
gonna
Okay, share.
some of the things that grow on the farm.
I'm so excited right now.
Okay. So this is it. We're gonna have you open it. You can open it up, and then we're gonna go through each of them. Okay.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. So the farm is called Sankofa Tropical Fruit Farm.
I like the name Sankofa.
Indeed.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that is Atamoya.
Atamoya.
Atamoya. Okay.
Oh, I can't open it. Oh.
And then we got this one. This is not ready yet.
What is that?
You're gonna thank me.
What is that?
This is black sapote.
I've never heard of it.
This is chocolate pudding. When I say it tastes like chocolate pudding, it tastes like chocolate pudding.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So this is the first one of the season. The season is just starting. I have not even had one, so I'm gonna give this to you. All right. On our farm, we also have soursop.
Now I hear soursop will cure cancer.
It does.
Soursop is the medicine. That's what that.
It is. This is my.
I was
favorite.
looking for it this morning when I went to the store. I did not find any soursop. I had no idea you were about to share with me.
Yeah. So this is my favorite fruit. We have about 25 of these trees on the farm. Yeah. And then this is mangosteen. Have you had this before?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna crack one open for you so you can have it.
Mangosteen.
Yeah. This is delicious. So I found out about this one when I was in Bali. I was at a.
Is it tart?
It is. No, it's not tart. It's really sweet actually.
Really?
Yeah, so that's what it looks like.
What, I'm eating that white?
Yeah, it has a small seed on the inside, so just be wary of that.
Oh my God.
Right?
Why don't you bring me a bag of these?
I know, right? This is egg fruit. Have you ever had egg fruit?
No.
Okay, egg fruit, when you crack this open, you got to let this get soft first. When you crack it open.
You got some more of these?
You're going to get two.
I don't care. You're going to give me three of them as good as they are.
I'm going to hook you up.
You sure?
I'm going to hook you up. This one looks like egg yolk. When you
Does it?
Yeah, but it
don't taste nothing like that,
no,
right?
it tastes nothing like egg yolk, but that's why they call it egg fruit. Right?
Okay.
And then,
I've been making a fool of myself on camera doing this.
You enjoy yourself. Have you had longan? What'd you think about the mangosteen?
Well, how you think I thought? What you think I thought about it?
This is longan.
Can I get in this?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's juicy.
It looks like an eye.
It does.
Stop.
These are the things. So
It's
these
like
are
a bird eye.
you know, I gave these out during Halloween when the kids came to the door and they was like, it looks like an eyeball.
It's good though.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And then
Where's the farm?
and south of Miami in Homestead. And then this is cactus pear. Have you had this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this got to ripen first, but
So you got to tell me the ones that I got to let get really soft. But you say I can
That's
eat
it.
this one like
All three
this
of
chocolate
these.
right away?
no, let this one get a little brown. Then it's gonna be
brown.
really good.
Okay.
So how you know it's ready to pick is you see the crown, this leaf on the top,
Uh-huh.
it's lifted. That's how you know it's ready.
I'm in love with this.
But you got to let this brown a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And then cut it across the circumference. It's going. It looks and tastes like chocolate pudding.
Does it?
Yes. I want you to message me when you have it.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right, so we got a few more questions.
Okay. I'm
gotta-
not going to keep eating, but
Yeah, we got a few more questions and then we're going to wrap up. I'm going to put this down.
this is
I'm
what
going
time
to
is
hook
it?
you-
Almost time already?
Already.
Really?
No, but we got some really important questions to get to.
Okay.
But you know, I love the same way that you love sharing with people nutritious and delicious foods. I love sharing the fruit because again, I'm probably 70 to 80% of what I eat is
This
this.
fruit.
And I get to go out in the morning and pick it. So I'm gonna send you an iHeart fruit
And
box.
so this is in season. This is about to be in
Yeah.
season fruit.
This is just
Yeah.
coming in season,
Yeah.
the chocolate pudding fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, black sapote. So
Wow.
all right, so
So you married?
not yet, but
Really?
yeah,
You working on it?
I'm working on it.
Oh, you working on
I
it?
want a life partner. I want what you and your guy got. I want somebody who understands my lifestyle.
Okay.
And we're gonna grow together, and so that's what I want for me. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm leaving all this. I'm going to a farm,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna live my life on my farm.
Yeah, that's why I think we're moving to well, I'm contemplating moving to Columbus, Ohio.
Gotcha.
Because I just want
Slower
I want
life.
slower life. I
Yeah.
want land. I
Yeah.
want to grow my own food.
Gotcha.
And since I'm 73, it's like I could ride it out in a place like that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
chill it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna talk.
All right.
All right, so I can't let you get out of here without asking. So most people in their 40s, let alone their 50s, stop exercising because they feel like they lack energy.
Mm-hmm.
They are fearful of injuring themselves. Their bodies are inflamed, or they just don't believe it's something that somebody their age should be doing. What advice do you have for them?
You better get up.
Get up.
Get up. No, serious.
Yeah.
Because we sit all day at work, we sit driving home, we get home, we eat the wrong food, then we sit down in front of the stupid box and watch that for the rest of the night, and we
Right.
don't do anything else. And it is really, 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 you're on your way to being having a horrible, horrible quality of life.
Yeah.
You have to move. This human body
It's amazing.
was created to move.
Gotcha. And how often do you move or exercise?
I work out 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. I get to the gym when it opens at 5. I get on a bike and I do that spin for about an hour.
Okay.
And I choose to work out with a trainer because I'll go harder with a trainer than I will push myself.
Yeah.
So I pay whatever it costs. And you know, they're like, well, you're 73, you should be getting all this stuff for free. Anyway, I just know I need somebody to help me, and they inspire me. And
Yeah.
I take it as far as I can take it. I love it. I absolutely love
I can tell too.
I do. I really do. I'm so appreciative that I met Ron, number one, because he takes you on a date and takes you up to Griffith Park and makes you run a hill.
Shout out to Ron.
Who does that, right? But man, what if I had not?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's worked out.
Other thing is, how important is shifting to a healing mindset? Because it seems like that's what triggered you. It was like
Yeah.
a moment where you said, You had a higher self talking to you. You had a lower self saying, "Man, I got this check. I can go do whatever I want with it." And then the higher
Higher
self
self
clocked in
said,
was like, "And
and
then
mess
what?"
it all up.
How important is
Just
it to
that
having
is,
that healing mindset?
man, you just really have to listen sometimes.
Yeah.
You just really have to listen. Experiences, life experiences are so wonderful. That's why the journey, no matter what you've been through in the past, it's so wonderful to have been able to have the opportunity to come to this planet as a human in this form,
Yeah.
and to be able to learn all of what you're able to learn and grasp while you're going through this thing called life.
Yeah.
I love my life is really, really, really great now. And that's not to say that I don't shed a tear, or that I sometimes don't. Somebody says something about me and I get defensive. That's when I reel it in. I know now how to reel it in
Yeah.
and say, was that person really talking about you? Not really. But then why are you bothered by that?
Yeah.
I can bring it back myself. And I so appreciate each and every second of my journey.
Yeah.
And I just try really hard to stay current, not live back there
Yeah.
or try to go too far up there, because none of that is real,
Yeah.
only now. And that's where I stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I lived in the blue zone for about 4 years, like
Ooh,
I was telling you, in
Blue
Okinawa,
Zone,
Japan.
yeah.
And I learned so much from them, like
Bet you
watching these
did.
people walk up hills and
What about
climb
that
trees.
squat? What about that squat everybody can do at
Indeed.
9,000 years old?
Hmm. And I see that you're defying the whole age
Oh,
process.
I totally am.
No differently, but even better, because you're fit.
I don't
Like
even,
I've seen you do battle ropes. I've seen you do
all
boxing,
that.
push-ups,
Yes,
all of it.
all of it.
I even saw you do what, 72, 75
I
push-ups on
did
your
I
72nd
did
birthday?
100. First I started off with, I think it was 25, and then I did 15, and then I did sets of 10 until I reached 100 in the restaurant.
On your
in front-
72nd
on my
birthday.
72nd birthday. I was bound and determined. I was going to do 100 push-ups.
Okay, so I can't get out of here without you giving people a little of the sauce to what's your secret to the fountain of youth and longevity?
Love, self-love and self-care, man.
Yeah.
I make sure that I'm taking care of me. I don't put anything in my system anymore that I find to be harmful.
Yeah.
Now, let me back it up.
Yeah.
I'm human. I ain't running 100.
We all are.
Okay. So if something aches me, since I know that the only time that's guaranteed to me is the now, if it's aching too damn long,
Yeah.
I will take in a leave. Okay. So
Good stuff.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay,
I don't
gotcha.
want to be hurting, too long. So, but I don't, like I said, I need to get myself a primary care physician. I'm just never sick.
Yeah.
I don't,
It's like hiring a painter. You don't need nothing painted.
and never needed painted. I'm
Yeah.
so blessed right now. I really am. I'm very, very blessed. I have no illnesses, nothing going on.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And I see that you were actually, I interviewed Dr. Baxter Montgomery.
Doc.
So we became really cool.
Doc is my
He reached out to another physician that I'm really cool with and said, "Hey, can you connect me?" Ever since then, we've been
Doc is sharp, ain't he?
super sharp.
He's sharp.
Yeah, and I see
He's
you are,
healing people.
and I see you are part of that Heart of a Champion
Yeah.
docu-series.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about
Oh
that
my
before we
God,
get
that
out of
was
here.
so incredible, because here he had these athletes that were once at the top of their games.
Yep.
And because of diet primarily,
Yeah. Yep.
they were losing it.
Yep.
And he brought them in, hooked them up to raw food diet,
Yep.
almost took them back to where they were before they stopped playing. And these are older guys now.
Yeah. Again, it's never too late.
Never too late.
You are like the embodiment
Never
of
too late.
It's never too late to be great.
There you go. I like that. Think I'm going to steal that from you.
You can have it.
I can have it.
Yes.
Thank you, along with that fruit.
Along with the fruit. And before we get out of here, tell the people how they can stay connected with you, what new projects you got coming up, that sort of stuff.
Oh, wow. I just have so much going on. Come on. And I have a manager, because the one thing I will admit to, half the time when people want me, like, I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
It's like he has a podcast. I'm sending you, look at his stuff. And I'm like, but yeah, so I'm just really, I don't, you'll explain to me what you want to do. I got so many projects. You have to call my manager, Chris,
Yeah.
and he can tell you about all my projects.
Right.
It's a lot going on.
Gotcha,
But the
gotcha.
main thing that is extremely important is that I have an opportunity now to speak more.
Gotcha.
And I'm really, really loving that, because I don't come to people as Miss Perfection.
Yeah.
I come to you as you,
Yeah.
and I just share a bit of the journey, because I feel so good. I want everybody to feel as good as I feel.
Gotcha.
I mean, come on,
I love it.
73, boom.
Boom.
Better know it. No.
Last question of the day. If you rule the world, how would you heal our people?
Man, if I ruled the world, I would heal our people with love.
Yeah.
It is just totally impossible for you not to love you. If you don't love you, you'll never love out there.
Right.
So you start with self-love and self-care, and that's how we can start taking care of the animals, the planet, all of that.
Gotcha.
It starts with love. If we don't have that,
yeah,
we're a hot mess.
Love is my religion.
It has to be.
I want to thank you so much.
No, thank you.
No, I'm honored. I'm truly honored for you taking the time to have this conversation with me.
This was fun.
To share with the world. I'm sure that some people are going to be enlightened by this.
Good.
Inspired, motivated.
Good.
And so I just want to give you your flowers and say thank you.
Yeah, where's my flowers?
Your flowers.
They're so beautiful because they match. How did you know I was wearing this?
Man, let me tell you something. You meditate.
How did you know?
I say none of me and all of you.
How could you buy me flowers that look exactly like my outfit? Was it you?
Know, right?
Did you do it? It wasn't you? Look, look,
I got these.
Look, y'all. Maybe I'll divorce Rondo. And you can have a wife, a new wife.
You're not going to have Ron kill me.
These are but let me just.
Thank you.
Am I holding them right? Do I hold them like a baby? How do I do this?
No, you hold them anywhere you want.
Anyway,
right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Until the next time, peace and blessings and Godspeed.